We're live, raw, and real. Welcome, Josh Sizemore, to Drink Up. Before we get started, I want to welcome Adam Smith as well as Caress is out there somewhere hiding. She'll pop on the screen occasionally, helping us kind of move along. But we always call out a few of our sponsors, Adam and I, and we always do it with. We were talking about water earlier. I don't know if you knew this guy is
Yeah,
Jay Williams.
yeah,
So Jay somehow landed in my life over the last 3 years or whatever. We've gotten to know each other. Met him at BevNet. Anyway, he
yeah,
has a wonderful water here, so we always call out Freebird.
yeah.
And he did a post the other day. He said, "What do you think about when you see my brand Freebird?" And I think of Leonard Skinner in his song Freebird.
You said
You know,
LS, and Jay was like, "Who's LS?" I'm like, "Brother, come
he
on,
knows
man."
who. He knows. He's a Georgia boy, man. He knows who
Right?
LS is. Come on. But anyway, and then Adam, thank you for sponsoring the Alias Advising, and Alicia Vargo, if you're out there with Bev Assets, and then our friend Ryan and his company, Adam.
His company, On the Rocks Advising. So Rocks ROX. Yeah, On the Rocks Advising, and I believe Ryan is back after a. He's back today, and we'll see if he's in the comments after a 9-hour trip home to Knoxville, Tennessee, from Washington D.C., where he was helping chaperone about 100 kids in his son's grade, which is a wonderful parenting thing to do. But 9 hours on a bus with that many children, I was like, that's great for you.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm
That's
a
what his company does too. He deals with children like us.
right.
So, yeah,
Uh,
Rocks is they're a community of beverage pros and different people that can actually help brands, Josh. So they, from logistics to operations to actually distribution and sales and marketing, he's amassed a group of people that he works with, and we certainly enjoy working with Ryan as well. So,
Cool.
Ryan, we're calling you out and your services. So hopefully you join us and you'll catch this later on. I always want to say capture, but I don't know. Capture's on my mind, Josh. But welcome, Josh. Why the hell would you want to come on a beverage show? You're a food guy. We were just talking about it.
Yeah, so I'm a food and beverage guy. I mean, beverage was I'm more of a beverage guy probably, but it's just because of my background. But yeah, I'm currently CEO of Feast Fast, which is a keto friendly, diabetic friendly, and diabetic safe snack food brand. Currently got cookies in the market, and we're coming out with crackers and cereal eventually. So, but yeah, but I'm a kind of first and foremost, big beverage nerd and guy, and that's where I lived for a long time, and still play in the space. So
Welcome, Josh. Why the hell would you want to come on a beverage? That's cool. So let's get into it. And thanks for. We usually post this the night before that we go live. We've been doing this for about 3 years. I think you asked the question. So, um, what what? So being a founder, like it sounds like this is in your blood. You've been doing this for a while. You've obviously it's all been fun, right? This has been really easy. It sounds like just listening to you, you've done really well. You've built these massive companies. You've exited them, so it was all easy, right?
yeah, super easy. Yeah, no problems. It was all like A through Z, and every step was great. Now being a founder is interesting, right? Like I have a you know it is in my blood for sure to be a crazy person. I think all founders are crazy, especially the ones that stick through it. I think that's in my opinion, that's probably the one thing that is critical, is the stick to itiveness, if that's even a word, and the determination. You have to have it when you're creating a business, right? And I think a lot of people that jump into their own business and try to start a brand, they think success or whatever their definition of success is going to happen in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And don't get me wrong, it does sometimes, right? But most of the time it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then people stop at 4 and 5 thinking it's never going to happen. But if they just keep going and they just keep going, it'll happen for them. And so I think that's why so many like entrepreneurs or business owners just kind of fall off and quit and give up because they don't think it's going to happen.
So I think about the tortoise and the hare. I always talk about this. And I think a lot of people arrive on our door. We do a national feet on the street program. We have about 100 sales reps across North America, and a lot of brands like, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
Of course. But they show up on our doors and they expect within 30 days something's going to happen. And we try to tell them that it's not going to happen in 30 days. And we go
Yeah.
through the story of Tito's and Buzz Balls. And I just met with Adam at Carlos, maybe you know Adam Coroner. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate you sharing that because I don't think it is easy. I was being facetious.
Yeah.
But I tell you, your success though, it seems like your turns are really quick. Like you get a company and you build it to, a few hundred million and you sell it. I mean, how the heck did you do that?
Well, I think I've had some special circumstances, right? So first one was Original New York Seltzer, and it was a, $700 million brand in the '90s that went bankrupt because of an owner that, he didn't want to sell the brand to Anheuser-Busch, and Anheuser-Busch pulled their distribution, and they ultimately went bankrupt. So, and that brand was, in my opinion, was a little ahead of its time because it was kind of an all natural sparkling soda that wasn't,
This is
in the
before
90s.
LaCroix. This is before LaCroix, or kind of around the time LaCroix.
It was it was before, and then it's funny. My partner he had his license plate said F LaCroix. So yeah, it was about that around that time, and so that in that circumstance, like people knew about it when we brought it back, and they wanted it, they knew about it, they loved it. It made sense, like COGS and all that stuff, margins for the retailers and distributors. So it was it was just a unfortunate circumstance for someone that led to a fortunate circumstance for someone else. And then we just built it, continued to build it. And, when it was time to
So
sell.
Robert's coming in. He said, "Are you the New York Seltzer dude?" I guess you are.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. That was it.
How
And
long's
we
the long-
and
how
and then
long's
we
the
sold
long
it.
ago?
2014, I think.
Okay, so
Yeah,
a little
13
bit.
maybe.
Not
13,
like 30
yeah.
years. Yeah.
No. And then I stayed on. So I was there, and then I left, but I stayed on as kind of an operator, helping them as long as I could, and then I just stayed on the board until we sold it, because I started Unify probably a year and a half, 2 years after New York Seltzer. So
And the
Tell us
Unified.
about. You were talking about the unified. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, you're fine. I was gonna ask the same question you were. So I think I found the product online. PET bottle, green writing.
yeah,
Maybe was it like 32 ounce ish? Is a little bit bigger plastic bottle.
we had a 1 liter and a 20 ounce.
And
Okay.
this is the story you're talking about where you found this aquifer.
Yeah.
So let's get in this. Show the story and how this came about. I was really interested when we were getting into earlier.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. So, my first cousin, he's one of the longest running judges in Kentucky, like 60 years or something. And so he thought it would be funny to nominate me for this, because he's on the board of a university. He thought it would be funny to nominate me. I'm not to be the president.
You look like a president to me, man. I'm just saying. But I lived in Owensboro, Kentucky as well, and I lived in Louisville. So
Yeah,
I
so
totally relate.
yeah. But anyway, I did want to go through the process, so I did. I came up to Kentucky for like a week, went through the process, met with the board, and one of the board members wanted to talk to me about his businesses and get some advice. And so we sit down and we chat, and then he goes through the plethora of things he's got going on. He's an attorney, and he tells me, yeah, me and a few partners, we own this aquifer, about 100 acres. It's 10 million gallons a day, blah, blah, blah. The quality of the water is unbelievable. pH is like 8.1. I'm like, and I'm a health nut, so I knew water. I know water really well.
So
And I was like,
8.1 pH is a good thing.
for aquifer, yes, it's amazing. Yeah, I
Naturally
think,
occurring water, yeah.
yeah, it's wonderful. So we talk. I was super intrigued. I asked, we asked him if he had proof of all this stuff, and he's like, yeah, of course. So we meet the next day, And he brings me these documents, and I'm, my head's spinning at this point, and I kind of pleaded with him to meet with me again the next day, and he didn't know why, and I didn't tell him why. But that night, I went home and literally created the brand in 12 hours. The marketing plan, the budget, the COGS, the go to market, right?
You created a brand plan and go to market and commercial, the whole bit in 12 hours.
Everything. Yeah, probably less than that.
Okay, so you need to join Rocks and Bev Assets. We can use your expertise.
And so I brought this, I even created the budget and the investment that we would need for the first, year. And so I brought all this stuff back to him and said, this is what I want to do. I want to create this brand around giving back, but it makes sense, kind of like the Tom Shoes model. And he loved it. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And so I moved from LA to Kentucky in like 3 or 4 days and just went all in.
You're not from LA. I mean, you are from Kentucky.
I'm from Kentucky. Yeah. So I was from a town of 900 people. You remember Tim Couch, the quarterback for Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like 3 years older than me. We went to the same high school, same town. So his brother's one of my best friends. So yeah, it's super interesting. But yeah, jumped out, just went all in, man. I lived in, what was weird though, was when I moved back to Kentucky, I lived in Lexington, and our water source was in Tazewell, Tennessee. It was about 2.5 hours one-way drive. And I drove every day for 4 years, 2.5 hours each way, unless I was in a retail meeting or an investor meeting. I was there bottling the water, loading the trucks, overseeing the plant.
You were the founder. You actually have to physically go do the work?
Absolutely. I was the chief delivery officer. I was the chief loading officer. I was all of it,
That is so important. So many founders and companies start and they hire a COO, a CEO, a chief sales officer, and they're like, well, I have no cash left. I'm not, because you hired the C-suite and you hired the C-suite and the street.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if you have capital, great. Hire the people that know what they're doing. But if you don't, just ask for advice. Like, that's one thing that I never did before Unify. I never asked anybody for anything ever in my life. But when I started Unify, that's all I did was ask. I was like, begging people, asking for favors, asking for this, asking for this.
Did you have a lot of people shut doors on you then when you started, like saying no, no, no? Did you like they didn't believe in you?
So it was an interesting thing because when we went out for our Series A, we went to raise, I think it was like 7 million, and it took me 133 meetings to get my first check. And
what 133 meetings.
And I met with you don't even know. I met with everybody, every VC in New York, LA, Chicago. Like, you don't even know. And my first check came from a real estate investor that I didn't have a meeting with, that I met at a bar about 1 a.m. in Times Square. And we started talking, and she's like, I love it. She wrote me a check in the bar for $1 million.
Well, your first check was $1 million?
Yeah.
That's a freaking win. I work with brands. We're just trying to raise like $500,000. I need to talk to you offline about it and get some coaching here. And we have a group of like guys that have been for like Pepsi, Dr. Bob Murray, and the whole bit. We're like, we can't get any funding, so we need some coaching from you.
No, I mean, it took me a long time, and it was getting to the point where I was like down, and in that, but the thing was that we were getting into retail and distribution like crazy. So I had to pull back.
Before the tech came in, you had some value, you had some revenue in the door. You weren't pre-revenue now. You had some proof.
Yeah, we have. Oh yeah, we was probably at that point. We were probably in 2,000 doors, maybe.
You were still having a hard time getting money. You were in 1,000 doors.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they didn't like me. If they didn't like, I don't know what it was, but it was. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But once that once she wrote me that check, it was kind of, got a lot easier after that. And so we built a brand, and we got up to 225, 230, and then we were going to be $1 billion brand 100%, but unfortunately, I went through a really bad divorce, and it was all so. I was meeting
So are
with.
you 100% owner of the brand then? I mean, you're majority owner then of the
I was the majority, yeah,
Okay.
but there was a lot of lot of people had equity. So, but um, I was meeting with Nestle like every week, like once once a week for 6 or 7 weeks in a row. I was meeting with Nestle CEO in Connecticut, and I thought we're gonna sell this some bitch for like 700 million. I know we are, because that was what we were talking about. Like that was it. And then our last meeting, I bring my guys in from LA. I got like the whole team, and then they just hired a new CFO, and we met with the new CFO, and he just shit on the whole deal in the room. It was
Was
15
this like
minutes,
at
and
the
I'm
cap
like,
table then? You're looking at like the finances and stuff and he just picked it apart?
well, he just shit on the deal. He just like, no, I don't like it. I don't. He was just like, and come to find out, I know why, because that the CEO we had been talking to at Nestle got let go like literally 2 or 3 days after that, and so he never really had the juice. And so I know Bill Perkins, uh, and he is former CFO of Global Nestle for
Yeah.
26 years,
Yeah.
and he said, I was in Greenland with him a few weeks ago, and he said, "Yeah, if I was there, man, you just missed the timing." He said, "If I was there, I'd have paid you."
Like the timing is everything in life. So you get through that
Yeah,
deal. So you end up doing a deal then, or the deal fell through, or no?
deal fell through, and then I was going through a bad divorce, and so I had to hurry up and scramble, and then ultimately we sold to like private equity for like, I mean, it was just not ideal for anybody, but
So
it
this
was
was the
okay.
this was so it basically you didn't this wasn't your golden ticket.
No, that hasn't happened yet, but it was fine. It was fine. It was
Yeah.
fine. But so we did that, and then I moved back to LA, and then jumped into this consumer tech uh, business or startup called CBD.com, and it was like basically the Amazon for CBD and THC products and brands. We had literally every brand in the world on our platform, and we just mimicked Amazon basically. And so it done pretty well. The biggest hurdles there was just like, because the CBD was still a gray area, so marketing it and finding ways around to post ads, or uh, do things like that was a little tricky. But we
So
had some.
can we step back for a minute? I'm sorry, and then
Yeah,
Adam. So let's just like I just want to just frame this up. So how many like startups have you started?
yeah. 6.
6.
Yeah.
And currently, your current startup is what?
So my current startup is called Surrogate. It's in the tech space. It's actually.
You're a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. So and this, I'm very excited about this one,
Okay.
and for many reasons, but it directly connects intended parents with the most credible and highly vetted surrogates on the planet directly, almost like a dating app. And so there's not really anything out there like it, and so we're excited. It's only been, it's 5 months, we have users now. We just got invited to Web Summit in Lisbon. So my co-founder and CTO, he's going to go to that in November and present and all that stuff. So we just opened a seed round to raise 3 million. So once we raise that, we'll have a good
And
gauge on
tell us
how to
again,
grow.
once again, what is the platform? What is it?
It's called Surrogate. So instead of Surrogate, how it's normally spelled, it's SURROGET, like
Okay.
surrogate.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
so it's going
what
to be
is
a
it?
platform and app. So
And what is it? What does it do? appreciate
Connects intended parents with surrogates directly.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, wow.
so you don't
Okay.
have to
So
go
if
out
I
and use
want
an
to have a baby
agency.
and I can't have a baby, I can actually, someone that's interesting to carry my child, they'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's that we vetted him and pre-vetted him, and like I mean, like we get 100 applicants probably a week, but we only put like it probably 20, 15 to 20 that out of that 100. That's how much we vet these
Hmm.
folks. So
That is amazing. We have I won't
Super
name,
cool.
but Alicia and I have one of our partners, I like to call her, and she had shared the news that she was using a surrogate. And then I heard through another mutual friend that she's pregnant.
oh, nice.
And so that's incredible, by the way, what you do. That's a great service to humanity and people that, are
Yeah,
not able to have a child, but they can actually use a surrogate to do it. So that's really incredible, by the way. So I thought
yeah,
I'd just call it out.
Hmm.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. It can it come because we me and my wife we've been having we had issues for the last 7 years and didn't we couldn't have kids so um we tried this the last effort was to get a surrogate, didn't happen, kind of let down big time, and going through like traditional agencies and things like that and so I was like, you know what, I want to create something that people don't have to feel this way, create a platform that people can connect instantly and or potentially instantly and without going through the rigmarole of like asking an attorney and they recommend a surrogacy service, right? That's then you go to the service and then they it takes 6 to 12 months to find somebody that's good, but when you can actually go and find somebody instantly, that's three or and then have 3 or 4 different choices, right? And then connect with them, and if it works out, great. If it don't, but it gives you an option.
It's amazing how a business is formed based on a need that you identify in the market. So you've come to this with a solution. And I was reading a post or something this morning on LinkedIn. I often go on LinkedIn in the morning, and the person said, if you can come and be solution oriented, that'll actually your business will grow, right? And you're not doing it to actually make money. You're doing it to help people.
I know, and it's so funny because this is I mean tech is some no tech the tech space is just insane sometimes. So um yeah, and the market, not even thinking about like because I didn't think the market was that big. I mean, it's like 14 billion in the US. It's insane.
Isn't a lot of money's going into tech, right? So speaking of like seed rounds and stuff, I've heard that a lot of beverage people are having a hard time getting beverage money because everybody wants to put the money in tech, especially in AI right
Yeah, they
now.
should just they should just make a beverage and call it AI beverage, and then
All
they'll
right, we can do
invest
it
in
right
it.
here. Go get that URL right now, someone. Crush, someone go get it. The three of us, the four of us, we're going into that right now. So that's brilliant. Adam, I know you've been thinking there, man. I've been hogging this whole conversation, and
No, you're
I'm
good,
just
man.
so excited. I'm excited to talk to Josh, is because I lived in Springhurst in Louisville, by the way,
Uh-huh.
out there, and then I worked for Brown Foreman for 10 years.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool.
850 Dixie Highway. We used to walk around. We'd come out of the building. We'd walk around and find like bullet shells and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but they did pretty good keeping the neighborhood kind of safe around
Yeah.
around the campus. But anyway,
That's
sorry,
funny.
everybody. Bring it
Uh,
on, bring it on,
no,
Adam.
you're good, man. I'll get to a question, I promise. But the stuff that comes up for me is like, we talk about it on all of our shows, but founders planning for, you know, I talk to so many people in San Bernardino who are like, I want to exit in 5 years. Like, okay, if you try that, like if that's your goal, you're probably going to fall short because 5 years just isn't long enough most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But if you just extend that timeline, like that alone, just allowing shit to breathe for another few years, obviously there's still work to be done, but it allows for like your I would love to see what the success rate percentage goes to just based on changing that variable. Like if somebody had that study done,
Yeah.
A, and then B, I think Josh, hearing you talk, like some of the most successful entrepreneurs I know, and most of them are older, and I mean that not as a knock on the 20 somethings I'm working with, right? But they're people who have been entrepreneurs in multiple different areas of business, right? Because to your point, I mean, even the story you shared, which was hilarious about, yeah, my cousin nominated me for this thing at the university as a joke, right? But you're like, I went to go do it because I thought it'd be a good experience, right? I thought I'd learn something from it. Like shit like that, and being able to stack experiences like that so that when a water opportunity or when a whatever comes up, you can go, oh, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of experience from here, a little bit of experience from here. I'm going to plug this that I learned in here. You know what I mean? It just gives you all those tools. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people miss that, and they think I've got my one shot and that's it, and I'm going to take it. If it doesn't work, then, that sucks, and, everything's miserable. So I guess my question is, when it comes to whether it's Surrogate or Feast Fast or any of it, like for you personally, what's the goal? Like, is the goal for you to just keep, collecting businesses like rings of power and eventually have them all? Is it,
You gotta have
hey,
10 rings on the finger, man. There's
right?
4 more
Like,
in you.
is it I'm playing the game, and as soon as one of these pops off, I'm gonna go sit on a beach somewhere? Like, what's the vision that's driving you and all these things you're doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just I think it's a bad habit for one, and then second,
Do
I
you wake
think
up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat? That's for Alicia.
oh, I mean, I used to for sure. I don't know. I mean, I do have goals, bigger goals, which is like I think a couple of them is I've never built a brand to a billion, so I want to do that. And then I've never went public with a brand, so I
Okay.
wouldn't care to do that. So those two things would be like a goal, right? As far as like, I want to. I just think it's you have one life to live, right? And if I'm, if I have a skill set, right? If I have a skill set, right? Like I can, and I'm not saying this to brag or to be boastful, but I've been through the ringer so many times now. I can build a brand from nothing
Sure.
and put it and have it on the shelf in 6 months. I don't give a
Sure.
shit. I don't care what you
Right.
what I nope. I mean I can do it. I've did it too many times. I know I can do it, right? So if I can't share my experiences and my knowledge with people,
Sure.
what am I doing,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So like when I reach out, like I reach out all the time to people, like with emails and like people doing great stuff. I reached out to Jay actually at Freebird like last week, I think, doing via email just to be like, hey man, I'm here if you need anything. So like
Well, I can make that happen.
no,
So we'll
and
have
then
you and Jay on the show.
talked.
We're trying
Yeah,
to
we've
Carras,
talked
if you're
before.
listening, we got to get Jay on the show, and we'll invite Josh in as like a sub guest, and the two meet him, so we can make that happen.
Yeah, but I mean, I've talked to Jay actually before he launched his brand, and but anybody doing some good work or not, just not understanding or knowing what they're doing in the space. Like I have tons of knowledge because I went through so many, mistakes. So like, why not share that? Why keep it to myself?
Right. Well, I think this is part of the reason I asked the question. A, I'm just truly interested in the answer, but B, I think like and Sam and I have talked about this, Ryan and I have talked about this, like the list goes on. Also, Robert said knock knock. I'm not sure if he's waiting to be let in. He maybe joining us for. He said yes. I
He's
think
got to control Robert. He'll come in, man, hot.
I think for anybody that does this long enough, the desire to train or coach or teach or whatever the right word is, I think that naturally becomes more and more of a thing of it's like, hey, like I'm good and I'm gonna be good. Like I'm gonna find work. My bills are gonna get paid and I'm confident in that. So like I don't need to, put a price tag on every conversation. I don't need to put up
Right.
paywalls, blah blah. But I truly enjoy what I do and I enjoy seeing other people do it and having a community. And so like let's invite more people to the party. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And I'm really bad at like the social stuff. Like when I first
I'm
started doing
sorry.
uniform.
I have to pause you. You said you're bad at the social stuff. You got to check for $1 million in a bar. You're not bad at the social stuff.
No, I mean like the social, like the social
Can you come
media,
to
like putting
can you come
yourself.
to Minnesota and hang out with me in the bars, please?
Right.
So go
like
ahead.
the LinkedIn, the Instagram, the things like that. That putting myself out there more and talking about stuff like that's what I'm not good at that. I've like tried it and I'm like I'm just too. I guess I'm too busy or like I don't put it as a priority. And I
All
know I
right.
probably should to like.
Let's book some time next week. I can totally help you for free.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Um,
Not that I'm an expert, but
That's
hey.
so
Yeah,
funny.
but going back, Adam, going back to your first point of extending the time, I think it's just a mindset, right? Because if your mindset is okay, in 5 years I'm going to do this, you're already setting yourself back times a million, right? You're putting a
Mhm.
timeline on something that you
Mhm.
have no control of. There's no, that's you're digging yourself, you're starting yourself from like negative,
Mhm.
and if that's your mindset. So the
Mhm.
people that have that mindset, which I agree, there's probably a lot that do. When they don't hit the 5 years, they're just like, all right, it didn't happen. I'm done.
Well, and I think it's that. I think it's and I don't know even where this quote originated from, but the whole like, oh, I'm going to be famous someday. Well, someday's not a date on the calendar, right?
Yeah.
So like, I applaud people for saying by this date something is going to happen. Like I applaud somebody putting a timeline to a task. I think that's smart. I think that's probably the way it needs to be done.
All right.
However, that
All right,
task can't
we got a
be.
call coming in here. Just see what I don't know that this is new. I'm just gonna see it. Okay.
Try it out. See if we can get him in. There he is.
Oh
Hey,
my
buddy.
God. Cost of goods sold is on the show.
Cokes, Josh Cokes.
So just a little bit about Robert. So, and I'll probably come in and interrupt all you guys because that's what I do. Robert can appreciate that. And the whole bit. So if Robert goes long, I'm going to just stop him or you go long or whatever, right? But Robert actually does some really cool stuff. He actually brings stuff into Canada.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool for you guys to meet anyway.
Cool.
He was on our show last week. And by the way, anybody that comes on the show, we call them alumni. So you're always welcome to pop in as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
this is a pop in. So what's on the mind? What's on your mind, Robert? Or finish, Adam. You were finishing your question, and we can bring Robert in.
Well, yeah, the point I was getting at, and then I have a question to tee up between the two of you is I think for a lot of the people I talk to, and I think Sam for a lot of the people you talk to, they'll set a timeline to a task, which again is a good thing, but that task is sell the brand. Well, that's too vague, right? They'll say, like, well, I'm going to sell the brand in 5 years. Cool. To who? For how much money? In what? Like, there's a million questions that need to come about for that. So if you're answering all those and the timeline's still 5 years, great. But I'd be willing to bet once you start putting details to it, that timeline goes out the fucking window, right? So A, that. B, to tie you two together, uh, Josh, specifically for Feast Fast, are you in Canada? Do you want to be in Canada? Or more generally, just like, I noticed, for example, I was on the website, there's allulose in your product, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I bring it up is a lot of the brands I talk to, again, they have no product. They have nothing yet. And they're like, well, I can't have allulose because Whole Foods won't take me. I'm like, there's a million reasons why Whole Foods won't take you, and allulose is very low on that list, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's more of a general question of how are you all as Feast Fast looking to grow? Does extending into Canada, is that involved in that? Like, kind of just give us your perspective on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been direct to consumer so far, so we're going to tiptoe into retail
Okay.
next year a little bit. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously Canada is definitely on the horizon. It's just a matter of partnerships
This
and
is live
timing.
networking right here, man. We're
Yeah.
doing it live. That's how
Oh,
we
yeah.
roll.
So it all goes back to timing and just making the right decision for the brand. Like, you can go nationwide out of the gate from day one, but
I love what you said there. You can go nationwide from getting one. I was at MBWA this week, and I took this young man, Nico, who owns Copa Tequila Cocktails, and he opened up in Jersey, and he'll do 7,000 cases, about 150 doors. I introduced him to Adam at Carbless, and Adam told him just that. He said, we built Carbless one community at a time, went
Yep.
to the next community, then we built the city, then we went to the state. And
That's
then
what
he
you gotta
asked
do.
Nico, he goes, Nico, how many door opportunities are there in New Jersey? And he said 1,700. And he looked right at him. He said, why are you here? Like, why are you NBWA? You still have work to do in your state.
Exactly. Yeah, I've always had this mindset of you have to take market share in that store before you can take market share in another store,
Ah,
right?
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Like why?
Uh-huh.
Like that's how your mindset should be, right? Like
Uh-huh.
take you if your goal is to take market share in the nation, okay, well you got to take market share in that store before, first and foremost, right?
yeah. Well, so many people
100%.
get distribution and disappear. They're like, oh, and what's happening is that brand is just collecting dust, right? It's not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
So, Coach,
velocity.
you were kind enough to join us. What do you got for us?
Way too much. So Sam, get ready. Hi, John. Josh, nice to meet you, Josh Sizemore.
You too. You
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Nice
pretty
to meet you.
interesting story you got. I was 18, 19 years old, first year university in Ottawa, not knowing how to live and figuring out how to get groceries and figure out, got to get a shower curtain. And I was a regular buyer of New York Seltzer, uh, Loblaws. So that New
Okay.
York Seltzer was one of the first seltzer brands to ever hit the market with a fruit, fun, and then let me go to the next step. When my buddy at Vincenzo's, one of the best grocery stores in the world, Waterloo, Ontario, the reason that they're one of the best is they have a gelato bar. So gelato bar gives you a little, a few more points on the scale. He asked me to get La Croix. Yes, guys. Does everybody want to repeat that? La Croix. It's not, I know the guy grew up across from the river LaCroix, but that river should be called La Croix. Anyway, so he asked me to bring in La Croix. I started doing it. My late father was a bit of a wheel, so I was trained on getting things. That's what I do. I get things. And being in Toronto, it gives me more challenges, of course. So I started bringing in La Croix, truck 1, truck 2, truck 5, truck 10, truck 30, and they never responded. I wish I met them at a bar, but they did send a cease and desist. And one of the highlights of my 10-year fledgling career, like you, I diagnosed you. You're a brandaholic. You suffer from entrepreneuritis. These are little words I've made up over my life. But when the lawyer sent the cease and desist letter, it was one of my shining moments where I got his cell number. My son did, actually. And I said, hey, Mike, you sell bleep in water. Okay. And if you want to go and mess with me importing for the gourmet grocery stores and the Four Seasons Hotel, because they like your karate brand. Nobody even has a clue of what the karate line is at a La Croix. Yeah, I'm intimately familiar with those 8 combo Italian flavors and the Nicola and the other mojitos and other little thin cans that La Croix also has. Yeah, I've been inundated with this shit for so long. But I told him that the NAFTA agreement doesn't take kindly to publicly traded companies worth $1 billion market cap harassing a startup single guy operation trying to get La Croix to golf courses. So I had that experience. I also want to share something that I'm sure you'll enjoy is when people talk about
and then Robert, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes here, okay? And then we're gonna
yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah.
the question, okay?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I was only one of the first customers in New York Seltzer, Sam. Cut me a
All
little
right.
slack.
Got it. It's good. It's good.
So, but I'll jump to the gun since there's a time limit. I live in Toronto, and I'm quite frustrated by the challenge of getting American partners and friends to understand that Toronto is the 3rd largest market in North America. It's bigger than the Chicagoland area now, and so with a minute or so to go, I will highly recommend. And I want to cite the story. A buddy of mine said, 10%. You're 10% of the USA. Why should we look at Canada now? Well, if you look at it that way, okay. But if you look at the Golden Horseshoe, the Toronto to Buffalo corridor on the western edge of Lake Ontario, it's a 12, 13 million person market with transportation nodes and everything all set up. So you mentioned allulose, you're right, not allowed in Canada. And a few other things that have to be done, like we're doing with Melting Forest now. We just got to get the label modified and get it into the stores.
I was with Dave Martin
I
this
know.
week, by the way.
And did you ever run into CBD Living, Josh? That brand?
Yeah, they were on our platform, I think.
Yeah,
So-
well, that's Sean McDonald. He's CBD
Okay.
Living. They've
And that's
launched
he owns Melting Forest, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
Sean, right? Yeah.
Dave Martin is the chief sales officer for Melting Forest. Dave Martin is one of my closest friends, and I glean as much knowledge as I can to fill the voids in here. But
Yeah.
in closing, I would highly recommend that the 4 of us get together to talk about how we can use the Drink Up gateway for you
Yeah.
and I to talk about the Toronto market. Because
Yeah, let's do it.
the Unify brand, I looked at it. Yeah, I'd like you to send a pallet so we can start peppering everybody.
Well, what's interesting is, so I just took a trip to Greenland
That's another. I need to hear about that for a half hour.
with diplomats and very prominent people, and it was insane. And I went to Greenland for one purpose, which was to taste this water source that they have, and they brought me there. And so there's something could be coming soon. I can't talk about it, but if it is, that could be another thing we
You
can
heard
talk
it first on Drink Up, man.
Right.
There's something
Right.
coming. So you
this
need
is
to be able to
Sam, this is
reschedule you, by
Adam,
the
Sam,
way,
this
Josh,
is
to come in and
perfect.
do the
That's
big
what-
announcement if you come back. Hope we haven't scared you off, man. But
Yeah.
Robert does these boxes, by the way. I haven't got my box yet. I think Crust got a box, but he does these boxes.
Not from me yet. No, the next round has to be made. He's talking about the boxes where I send out combined brands, 6 or
Yeah.
7 brands, some
Yeah.
IQ bars, some snacks. But go ahead, Sam. I don't want to describe what you
No,
were
I
about
just
to
want to. I
describe.
just want to get my box. But,
No, Caress purchased. She purchased her
Robert
own.
does
She was
the
so
box.
enamored of the cotton candy, not cotton candy. She purchased her own, some of that, and I think a few other things. She said it was really good.
Yeah, we
Well, you're going to be getting a handful of boxes, both of you, Sam and Adam and Josh. I don't know if it hit you, but New York Seltzer customer since 1987, and I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anyone else in our sphere that
Yeah.
can. Also, the La Croix guy. I would love to talk. I'd love to hear more about what you said about how everyone said "fuck La Croix," and
no
now.
cussing here. Come on. I was kidding.
Okay, but hey, Sam, can I go to tech for a moment?
Yeah. Go for it, and then this ask Josh some questions, man.
But there's a connection to La Croix here, Sam.
Okay.
You know the pro sports teams and the little shoulder patch they wear?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, the Panthers have won a couple Stanley Cups in a row. So La Croix has done well with their purchase of the shoulder patch. So you talk about tech business, right? Sam, Adam, tell me how well I intertwine this cable.
Okay.
What you're doing with Surrogate is unbelievable. I see it as a peer-to-peer solution to eliminate the 5,000 roadblocks and stumbling blocks. So let's go to peer-to-peer. Uber, peer-to-peer. Airbnb, peer-to-peer.
Mhm.
I have a little bit of experience with this in the sports gambling / investment world 35 years ago. So when you take this peer-to-peer factor and then bring it over to the Ticketmaster situation with tickets and resales and all that stuff, a lot of people ask me, why do I have angel investor and 3-time co-founder on my tagline? Because I went through this hey, I'm bringing another twine of the cable here, Sam. The social media comments you made, Josh, unbelievable, because it's not really true. This is the podcast, other podcasts where we're true. This is real life. It's not a fake social media marketing thing. And I respect all the companies that do that. It does serve a purpose. So why am I talking about it? You ready for the closer and how this
Yes,
cable's
sir.
going to be
Bring it
together?
on.
My late father, like I said, did some big stuff. These traits sometimes skip generations. So currently, remember La Croix on the shoulder of the Florida Panthers, right? The tech company known as Block Tickets is now on the shoulder patch of the Niagara Ice Dogs. They're an OHL hockey team. And my son has created a business that goes peer-to-peer with all the ticket exchanges, eliminates all the fees, and provides sports teams with a clear ticket system, which has driven me to close to bankruptcy as I am the venture capitalist, angel investor, not by choice. But it all comes together with your peer-to-peer thing that you talked about with Surrogate, the point you made about the move towards tech and AI. Harrison has basically used AI to create all of the data and all of the technical sheets that you need to give sports teams to run their ticketing system. But Sam and Adam, his company is on the shoulder patch of the Ontario Hockey League Niagara Ice Dogs. And that sort of connects because I look at the La Croix shoulder patch and I see that it's a tech company. I really look forward to connecting in the future with Sam and Adam and yourself, because there is a lot of dust that we can kick up.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah, yeah.
we'll make that connection for sure, 100%, man.
Cool.
And you're always welcome to pop in, Robert. So that link that you have, it's always live, so you can come in and ring, and we love it. We love pop-ins, by the way. I think Peter has come in from Brantarctica a couple of times, so we love it when people stop by. I don't know. Hopefully you're cool with it too, Josh. It just keeps.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit.
Flowing, man.
It's always good to meet. Always good to meet new people.
Yeah, so let's make a connection. Adam, can you go through some of the comments that people are making, by the way, on LinkedIn?
Yeah,
I can't really see them, so maybe
No,
you
you're
can
good.
cover
I got
that.
you.
Most of them are mine.
I would say most of them are Cogs's. We had a couple more on. Alicia said, "Belly up to a bar stool, Sam. You'll never know who you'll meet." That's where the investors are. Nothing planned, just magic. Mr. Martindale, hey Eric, said, "Oh, you got Josh Sizemore. I heard that guy's done a thing or two." And then our buddy Marius says, "Hello from France." I talked to him last week. I'm talking to him again on Monday, I think. So, yeah. And then I think that's everybody for this morning. I know Ryan said he was back. It was 150 kids, not 100. We had Peter in the comments. Yeah, I think that catches us up.
And Peter was called I, so we had I in the
some reason,
comments
yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah.
And then, we should definitely introduce you to those guys. But Eric Martindale, I don't know if you know who Eric is, Josh. But,
Yeah. Eric, he runs our Amazon.
Oh, there you go. He's,
Fantastic.
he did me a solid. He got, and I have a little brand. I mean, he's the real deal, man. That's
Yeah,
he
he's
knows
good.
how to-
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a really good person.
Yeah, he creates the pool, right? So you get it into the accounts, and he can drive like the DoorDash drivers and Uber drivers in accounts. Is he doing a little bit of that work to actually get things moving
Yeah.
off the shelf, right? So
So for Feast Fest, I know we're gonna run out of time, but I got one other question before we get to kind of our wrap up ones. You said 2 to 3 years, direct to consumer for now. You mentioned Amazon, like, because I've heard multiple people give different answers, and they're all about in the same ballpark. But I'm curious, like, what's the metric, if there is one? I'm sure there is. But what's the point at which you're like, okay, we're gonna do this much margin, profit, dollars of some kind in
Sure.
e-commerce, direct to consumer, and then we'll start looking at retail. The question
Yeah.
makes sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a few different things, right? It's you can look at subscriptions, you can look at revenue, you can look at profitability, you can and look at how many new customers do we have, how many repeat customers do we have. So I think those four things will steer your decision much easier.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it's experience that tells me that I need to do this or versus this,
Yeah.
So that's really it. And we're probably going to do Chicago. Like I think there's 12 stores in Chicago that wants us. I have one of my guys in Chicago. We may hire one more person to make sure that because I can get 2 people for 12 stores in that region, and they can hit one store every other day from 3 to 7, giving out samples, talking about the brand, being authentic, letting people know. And that's how you build it, right? So you go from one unit, so you go from sell through and velocity to 1 to 3 to 5 to 10. Once you get to 10, all right, now we can do something else.
that's what we do. We put feet on the street, so we actually go
Yeah.
into the wild, and we call it, and go in those accounts and go sell something, a menu, a drink, a bar, to a sampling
Yeah.
event, whatever it may be.
You have to do that. So
Mhm.
so Sam, we'll talk about that too for our brand. So
That'd be great.
offline, yeah.
So Sam, you wanna give the
I get the question. You know what, Robert? You know the question? Do you know the question that we always ask? Do you want to ask him?
There's a many questions, Sam.
No, the most important question. Do you know what it is? Do you remember?
It doesn't come to my head right now because my mind is already flooded with the plethora and myriad of topics that you guys bring to the table here. But now I'm thinking here. So what is that last
I'll ask
question?
the question, and Robert, you got to remember, because next time you come on,
I'll have to
or
remember.
Josh, you come on, you get to ask the question too for the other people. So this is really important. So here, drum roll. Josh, what is the difference between success and failure? We ask every founder this, everybody that comes on the show. What is the difference between success and failure?
Trying and giving up.
Trying, say that again.
Trying and
Giving
giving up.
Trying and giving up. So trying
Refuse
is
to lose.
success, giving up is failure.
Yeah.
So you kind of said it earlier, right? You said, you know, these people get in it and they're like, I want to sell it in 5 years. And you said they got to keep on going, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. I think you're not a failure as long as you keep on going.
Yeah, I mean, failure is such a like I've had start. I mean, I had a brand that after Unify before we started CBD that I wanted to start. It was called Pro Nola. It was going to be the first pre and probiotic granola bar, and we had the flavors. It was fucking amazing, but at that time we couldn't find a prebiotic that was shelf stable, and we was going through cash and burning through these, and we just couldn't find it. Now it's, a dime a dozen for that stuff. But, so, and I had my investors lined up. Like I had everything ready to rock and roll, but just couldn't find that. So that, and I had to like leave it knowing it was an amazing idea, but I had to shelf it. Right. So was that a failure? I don't know. I mean, that's,
well, failure is because you knew when to walk away. Sometimes you have to know when to walk away, right?
Yeah, and you cannot tell anybody. I mean, like failure is internally, right? Like, the world is the same. It's just different. It's different for me and you because I look at it different than you do, right? That's the only difference is how we see it.
Josh, do you have any cases where there's like a specific relationship that was involved in a colossal disaster, a catastrophe, but 4 or 5 years later, that relationship is integral to a team that is moving a brand forward? But 4 years ago, disaster.
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question, I think, and one I'm not prepared for.
A lot. The reason I ask is because it happens a lot in both my son's business and our business, and my food import, branding, whatever you want to call it, where contacts that were involved in colossal failures and bad luck, you keep in touch, you keep working, you keep trying, refuse to lose. And now, 3 years later, an individual representing a 40-store prominent chain in Toronto, who I argued with over the English-only non-compliant product that was in the store, with ridiculous rules about stickering a couple words on the cans. And I said, forget it. We fist fought on the phone for a year. When he left, I asked him to join me because I need I need a few other skill sets in my organization to get my balls in the end zone and my runs across home plate. And this week, that individual is taking a very good brand that we're all familiar with. I just don't want to talk out of school ahead of time.
Sure.
Brand that we all know, to that same chain. That was a disaster for me 2 years ago.
I love that, and I want to obviously give Josh some time to the remaining minutes, but I love that, Robert, because, we'll have brands that stop with us, right? And maybe we didn't meet to what their demand was, and we have other brands that we do, but down the line, you never know what's going to come. So I would never slam a door. But I think what you're saying is keep that door open because you don't know what the opportunity is in the future. And, I often wrap up with some clients that we have and say, look, maybe this isn't the right stop, or clients that want to explore our service to say, no, we're not the right stop right now, but we'll be here when you're ready. So we keep ourselves open because the world does change really fast. So thank you, Robert, for that. So Josh, what things did we not cover? And we can stay a little longer if you're cool with it, but what things did we not cover that you would like to make sure that we convey to everybody that's here today that you would like to cover off?
I'm good, man. I think we covered a lot. I think, this is a cool format, doing it live. It was interesting, and I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then, so I guess we'll just go around the circle here. I'll let everybody go, and Robert, you're included. Just like what would you want to leave everybody with today before we disconnect, and then I'll wrap up. So Robert, we'll just go from left to right. I'm not sure what you can see on the screen, but Robert, what would you like to say real quick to everybody, and we'll wrap up.
Well, you can tell by my exuberance that you, Josh, hit on several points that I think are, I call them biblically epic. The point about the bar stool, 0 for 150, and then you go have a drink. Serendipity, never know who you're talking to, always be aggressive in a polite way, and never be shy to bring up, yeah, here's what I do. The serendipity lesson that you convey, Josh, and the refuse to lose is one of the best things that I could have woken up to this morning.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one, by the way. If I can post on LinkedIn and tag you, Josh, I'm going to use that. It's brilliant.
All good.
Adam?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think just the willingness to I don't know. It's not obviously the most workplace polite term, but I think of it as just like fuck it energy of like a random question will come up and you'll be like, yeah, okay, fuck it, like let's see what shakes, right? Like I'll get into it. It might not go, it might go, but one way or another, like I'm gonna come out of it with a new contact, a new thing I know I want to do, a new thing I know I don't want to do, a new thing of how to do it, like, and I love that. I think it's fantastic, and clearly it's working for you, right? We could sit here for 4 more hours and listen to you tell stories. I'm enjoying the shit out of myself. But unfortunately,
you're letting it loose too, man. Robert, Josh asked earlier, hey, we allowed to cuss on the show?
I'll use fuck as a comma if left unattended. So no, I'll leave you with that. I've really enjoyed hearing your story and would love to stay in touch. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to be here. Glad to do this. I think me and Sam's been connected on LinkedIn for a while. So it was really good to meet and talk to him and talk to you guys in person or via video. It was, again, if I could just leave these young entrepreneurs with anything, it would be just don't stop. Just keep going. I mean, it's that's it, man. Like you just gotta keep going, keep moving, and you'll find something. It might not be what you're exactly looking for, but you'll find something.
Yeah. Man, that was just a great wrap up. That's speaking to me in so many fronts, because it's like I always feel like I'm in the episode of Seinfeld, and it's called Even Steven. You're walking down the street, you lose a 20. It's like, oh. Okay, but there's another 20. So so my partner always talk about, Alicia, is like, okay, let's just keep on going because we're doing a service to people. We want to help people, and I love the surrogate thing, by the way. That is just so special in what you're doing. And then I gotta get some snacks from you.
Yeah.
I guess I just got to go in and order them.
No, I'll send you some. Just send me your address. Yeah, it's all good.
That'd be great. And then you're down in Louisville right now, so that
I am. Yeah.
All right. So when I get down there, I would love to just like break bread with you or something. If you travel, do you get up to Minnesota at all, or?
Not to Minnesota. I mean, it's either New York or LA. But if I'm ever up in Minnesota, I'll let you know. But you may be in Louisville before I'm in Minnesota. So just let me know.
Do you hit shows and stuff, different shows and stuff, different conferences?
Yeah, sometimes I'm going to be doing some more of that stuff next year. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll coordinate, and then we'll definitely, Adam and I'll make the connections for you, and it's definitely happy to have a chat and introduce you to my wonderful partner as well. And
yeah, it'd be great.
But thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for joining us on Saturday. Robert, Josh, and Adam, please remain on the line because this is Riverside, and we have to download the information through the satellite somewhere. The cloud comes back down from your computer. So I'm going to stop now and see everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.